Kim Day stood on the bridge of the New Seoul, watching the massive space station grow larger through the viewing window. The Galactic Council's headquarters looked like a giant metal flower floating in space, with 12 different sections built by 12 different alien species. Each section had its own strange design and colors. Some parts glowed with bright lights. Others were dark and covered in sharp metal spikes. "Sir, they are asking us to dock at Bay 7, reported Lieutenant Park-soo from her station. She was young but very smart, and Kim Day trusted her more than anyone else on the ship. "They say a welcome committee is waiting for us." Kim Day nodded. After 15 years of traveling through space and meeting smaller alien groups, humanity was finally being invited to meet the big powers of the galaxy. The Galactic Council ruled over thousands of star systems and billions of alien beings. This meeting could change everything for humans. "Send them our thanks," Kim Day said. "Tell them we are honored to be here." Behind him, the other members of the human team prepared their gifts. Lena checked the security systems one more time. She was always careful, always thinking about what could go wrong. Choi Jun looked over the boxes of human art, music, and books they had brought. Han Bin read through his notes about alien cultures, making sure he understood how to be polite to each species. But the most important gifts were in Park-soo's lab. She had spent months preparing demonstrations of human technology. Medical machines that could fix almost any injury or sickness. Power generators that could provide clean energy forever. Tools that could turn dead rocks into green, living worlds where people could build new homes. The New Seoul shook slightly as it connected to the alien station. Kim Day felt his heart beat faster, but he kept his face calm. He had been chosen to speak for all humanity because he was good at staying calm and finding peaceful solutions to problems. "Docking complete," Li Na announced. "The station's atmosphere is safe for humans. We can breathe their air." Kim Day straightened his blue diplomatic uniform. It was simple but clean, designed to show respect without trying to impress anyone. The human team had agreed that they should appear friendly but not weak, confident but not proud. The airlock door opened with a soft hiss. Kim Day stepped through first, followed by his team. The corridor on the other side was huge, with a ceiling, so high he could barely see it. The walls were covered in strange writings from many different languages, and soft music played from hidden speakers. Waiting for them was the strangest group Kim Day had ever seen. There was Vorthak, the Supreme Counselor. He looked like a giant, lizard walking on 2 legs, with green scales and yellow eyes that seemed to study everything. His long tail moved slowly behind him as he walked. Next to him stood Admiral Zilmara from the Trade Federation. She looked like a huge insect, with 4 arms and large compound eyes that reflected the lights like mirrors. Her body was covered in natural armor that changed colors as she moved, the third being called itself Nexus Prime. It looked like a human-shaped robot made of silver metal, but Kim Day knew it was actually a computer that could think and feel. Lights blinked under its metal skin as it processed information faster than any human brain could work. The last one was Korath, chieftain of the warrior clans. He looked more like the animals from Earth, covered in thick brown fur with sharp teeth and claws. He was bigger than any human, with muscles that showed he was used to fighting. "Welcome, humans," Vorthak said in a voice that sounded like rocks grinding together. "We have heard interesting stories about your species. You have traveled far to reach us." Kim Day bowed politely, the way Han Bin had taught him. "Thank you for inviting us, Counselor Vorthak. We bring greetings from all humans and gifts to show our respect for the Great Galactic Council." Zilmara's compound eyes focused on the boxes the humans carried. "Gifts are traditional," she clicked. "But we are more interested in what you can offer the galaxy. We have heard rumors about your technologies. We would be happy to share what we have learned," Park Sue said, stepping forward. "Humans believe that knowledge should help everyone, not just one group." Nexus Prime's lights blinked faster. "Fascinating. Your species has developed several technologies that our databases show as theoretically impossible. We are curious about your methods." Kim Day smiled. "We brought examples of everything. Medical devices that can heal injuries in minutes. Power. Systems that create energy without pollution or waste. Tools for making new worlds where people can live and grow food." He gestured to Choi Jun, who opened one of the boxes. Inside was a small medical device no bigger than a human hand. Park Sue picked it up and activated it. A soft blue light appeared above the device, and holographic images showed how it worked. "This can repair damaged tissue, cure most diseases, and even help people live longer, healthier lives," Park Sue explained. "It works on any form of life. We tested it on ourselves and on the alien species we met on our way here." The 4 council members looked at each other. Kim Day could see something in their eyes that he did not expect. Instead of happiness or excitement, he saw worry and fear. Korath growled softly. "Your healing device could change the balance of power in the galaxy. Some species have advantages because they live longer or heal faster than others. That is exactly why we want to share it," Kim Day said. "Everyone should have the same chances to live good lives." Vorthak's tail stopped moving. "Humans are naive. The galaxy has worked in certain ways for thousands of years. Changes must be made carefully with proper oversight." Admiral Zilmara stepped closer to examine the device. "The Trade Federation controls medical supplies for half the galaxy. This technology could disrupt established agreements and contracts." Kim Day felt the first small warning in his mind. These aliens were not thinking about how the technology could help people. They were thinking about how it might hurt their power and control. But he kept smiling and continued with his presentation. Perhaps they just needed to understand better. Perhaps they would see that helping everyone was better than controlling everyone. He had no idea how wrong he was. 6 months had passed since the humans first met the Galactic Council. Kim Day sat in the same large room where he had first shown their gifts, but everything felt different now. The air seemed heavier, and the alien council members looked at the humans with cold, unfriendly eyes. During these months, the humans had demonstrated more of their technology. They showed how their fusion reactors could power entire cities without creating any waste. They explained how their terraforming tools could turn empty, dead planets into beautiful worlds full of life. They shared their ideas about fair trade and peaceful cooperation between all species. But with each gift, the council members became more worried and angry instead of happy. Vorthak stood up from his seat, his green scales catching the light. His yellow eyes stared down at Kim Day like a predator looking at prey. "Humans," he said in his grinding voice, "the Council has made a decision about your place in our galaxy." Kim Day nodded politely. "We are ready to listen, Counselor." "You will join the Galactic Council as a junior member species," Vorthak announced. "This is a great honor. Many species wait hundreds of years for such an invitation." Admiral Zilmara's four arms moved as she activated a holographic display. The image showed a map of the galaxy with different colored sections. Most of the space was marked in the colors of the major council species. A tiny area near the edge glowed with a new color. "You will be given control of 3 star systems," Zilmara clicked with her insect voice. "These systems have planets suitable for human life. You may build colonies and grow your population there." Kim Day studied the map carefully. The 3 systems were far from everything else, isolated and surrounded by empty space. They were like a prison with invisible walls. Nexus Prime's lights blinked as it spoke. "In exchange for this territory, humans will transfer all advanced technologies to Council oversight committees. Our scientists will study your methods and decide how to use them properly. All human research and development must be approved by the Council before implementation," Korath added, showing his sharp teeth. "No independent technological advancement will be permitted." Kim Day felt his stomach tighten, but he kept his voice calm. "What about our colonies and ships that are already exploring other systems? They must return immediately to your assigned territory," Vorthak said. "Any human presence outside your 3 systems will be considered a violation of Council law." Park. Sue, who had been quiet until now, leaned forward. "What about sharing our medical technology with species that need it? There are planets where people are dying from diseases we could cure easily." Admiral Zilmara's compound eyes reflected the room lights as she turned toward Park Sue. "Medical aid will be distributed through proper Trade Federation channels. Independent human aid missions are forbidden. But people will die while waiting for your bureaucracy," Li Na said, her military training making her voice sharp. "Our technology could save millions of lives right now," Korath growled. "The galaxy has survived for thousands of years without human interference. It will continue to survive with proper management." Kim Day looked at his team. He could see the shock and anger in their faces. Han Bin was writing notes quickly, his face showing the sadness of someone watching a beautiful dream die. Choi Jun stared at the map, calculating how many human colonies would have to abandon their new homes. "This seems like we would be giving up everything and getting very little in return," Kim Day said carefully. Vorthak's tail moved faster, a sign that he was becoming impatient. "You misunderstand your position, human. You are a new species with dangerous technologies. The Council is offering you protection and guidance. Without us, Other species might see you as a threat to be eliminated. Is that a warning or a threat? Li Na asked, her hand moving unconsciously toward her weapon, Nexus. Prime's lights flashed red for a moment. It is reality. The galaxy has an established order. Species that disrupt this order face consequences. The Council prefers peaceful solutions. Kim Day stood up slowly. He looked at each council member in turn, seeing the truth behind their words. They were not offering partnership. They were demanding surrender. We appreciate the Council's offer, Kim Day said in his most diplomatic voice. Such an important decision requires careful consideration. We request time to discuss this with our government. How much time? Vorthak demanded. 30 days should be sufficient. Admiral Zilmara's colors changed to a darker shade. This offer will not remain open indefinitely. The Council has been generous with its patience. We understand completely, Kim Day replied. We will give you our answer in 30 days. As the humans left the council chamber, Kim Day activated his private communicator. He sent a coded message that only other humans would understand. The harvest is over. All farmers return home immediately. Back on the New Sol, the human team gathered in their secure meeting room. Park Sue paced back and forth, her anger finally showing. They want us to be slaves, she said. They want our technology, but not us. It is worse than that, Han Bin said quietly. They want to control who lives and who dies. Our medical technology could save billions of people, but they would rather let those people die than lose their power over life and death. Li Na was already working at her station, sending encrypted messages to human ships throughout the galaxy. All exploration vessels are being recalled, she reported. Operation Silent Departure is beginning. Choi Jun looked up from his calculations. We have 47 colonies that will need to be evacuated. Some of them have been building new cities for years. The colonies can stay hidden, Kim Day decided. But all official human presence must disappear from council space. We tried to offer friendship. They want to offer chains. Park Sue stopped pacing and looked at Kim Day. So we are just going to leave? Walk away from everything? Kim Day was quiet for a long moment. Through the window he could see the giant space station where the council met. Inside that station, 12 species made decisions that affected billions of lives. They had chosen power over progress, control over cooperation. Sometimes, Kim Day said slowly, the best way to show someone their mistake is to let them live with the consequences. We offered to help them build a better galaxy. They chose to stay in their old, broken one. And when they realized their mistake? Han Bin asked. Kim Day smiled sadly. Then maybe they will be ready to listen. The New Sol turned away from the council station and headed toward the edge of known space. Behind them, the galaxy continued. Its ancient dance of power and politics, not knowing that the teachers were leaving, taking their lessons with them. 2 years had passed since the humans disappeared from council space. Vorthak stood in his private office, staring at reports that filled him with growing worry. Every attempt to find the humans had failed. It was as if they had never existed at all. Still nothing? He asked his aide, a smaller reptilian who trembled when speaking to the Supreme Counselor. "No, sir. Our best scouts have searched 100 systems beyond the galactic rim. We found no trace of human ships, colonies, or signals. They have vanished completely." Vorthak's claws scratched against his desk. When the humans first left, he thought they would come back begging within a few months. No species could survive, alone in the empty space beyond the galaxy's edge. But the humans had proven him wrong. Meanwhile, in the hidden depths of space, far from any Council territory, Kim Day walked through the gardens of New Earth Colony. The settlement had grown from a small outpost to a thriving city of 2 million humans in just 2 years. Clean white buildings rose between green parks and blue lakes. Children played in the streets while their parents worked in laboratories and factories that produced wonders the Council could never imagine. "The 15th colony ship reported successful landing yesterday," Choi Jun told him as they walked. "That makes 47 hidden worlds now. Each one is growing faster than we expected." Kim Day smiled as he watched human families enjoying their new home. When people are free to build instead of fighting for scraps, amazing things happen. Park Sue approached them, carrying a tablet full of research reports. Her face glowed with excitement. "Kim Day, you need to see what we have accomplished. Without Council oversight slowing us down, our scientists have made incredible progress." She showed him holographic displays of their latest inventions, medical devices that could regrow lost limbs, computers that could think and learn like human, brains but remained loyal helpers instead of trying to replace people, ships that could travel between stars in days instead of months. "The most amazing part," Park Sue continued, "is how fast we advance when we share everything freely. A scientist on Farhaven Colony discovers something new, and within days every human settlement benefits from it." Lee. Na joined their group carrying reports from her security teams. "Our defense networks are complete. Any Council ship that tries to enter human space will be detected long before it arrives, and if they come with bad intentions," she smiled grimly, "they will find our space much more dangerous than they expected." But while humans built their hidden paradise, the galaxy they left behind slowly began to fall apart. Admiral Zilmara floated in her command center, surrounded by angry Trade Federation captains. Her compound eyes reflected the red warning lights that seemed to flash constantly now. "Food riots on 7 more worlds this month," reported Captain Vex, his insect wings buzzing with agitation. "Without human terraforming technology, we cannot create new farmland fast enough to feed growing populations. The Centauri system is requesting emergency medical supplies again," added Captain Thrix. "The plague there has killed 3 million beings. Human medical technology could have stopped it in weeks." Zilmara's colors shifted to deep purple, showing her frustration. "The Council voted against trying to recreate human technology. They said it was too dangerous without proper understanding." "Understanding?" Captain Vex's voice rose to a high pitch. "People are dying while the Council understands things to death." Similar problems plagued every major power. Nexus Prime calculated and recalculated, but its mathematical models all showed the same result. Without human innovation to solve growing problems, Galactic civilization would collapse within 50 years. The warrior clans faced their own crisis. Korath met with his war chiefs in the great hall of their home world. The massive furry beings argued loudly around a holographic map showing their territory. "The Stonejaw clan attacks our supply lines again," growled War Chief Brutok. "They grow desperate as their worlds run out of resources. The Metal Claw clan has allied with 3 smaller clans against us," reported War Chief Grimma. "They blame us for letting the humans escape." Korath slammed his huge fist on the table. "The humans offered us clean energy that would have solved the resource wars forever. But the Council said their technology was too dangerous to accept. Now, we fight over scraps while the humans probably have everything they need," Brutok said bitterly. The worst situation was in the Outer Rim territories, where smaller species had depended on Council protection. Ambassador Krill of the Peaceful Traders sent desperate messages that no one answered. "Please, anyone who receives this message," Krill transmitted from his dying world. "We need help. The plague spreads faster each day. Our doctors cannot stop it. We know the humans had medicine that could cure this disease. If anyone knows how to contact them, please tell them we are willing to listen now." But space remained silent. The humans had vanished as completely as if they had never existed. Back on New Earth Colony, Han Bin worked in his study, writing the history of humanity's first contact with the galaxy. He recorded everything: the hope, the disappointment, and the difficult decision to leave. "Do you think we made the right choice?" Kim Day asked him one evening as they sat watching the sunset through the colony's transparent dome. Han Bin put down his pen and looked at his old friend. "I have been thinking about that question for 2 years. The answer is not simple." "What do you mean?" "We saved ourselves," Han Bin said slowly. "Our people are safe, happy, and free to grow. But we also left billions of innocent beings to suffer. Under the Council's broken system." Kim Day was quiet for a long moment. "Could we have changed their minds if we had stayed and accepted their terms?" "No," Han Bin said firmly. "They would have taken our technology and used it to make their control stronger, not to help people, but... But our silence speaks louder than any words we could have spoken. Every day the galaxy suffers problems we could solve. They remember that we offered to help and they said no." Kim Day nodded. "So we wait." "We wait," Han Bin agreed. "And we hope that someday they will grow wise enough to ask for our help as friends instead of demanding our surrender as subjects." In the distance, a new colony ship prepared to launch toward another hidden world where humans would build another paradise. The galaxy had chosen power over survival, but that choice was not permanent. Perhaps someday they would choose differently. 5 years had passed since humanity disappeared, and the galaxy was burning, not with fire, but with wars, disease, and desperation. The careful balance of power that the Council had protected for thousands of years had collapsed like an old building in an earthquake. Vorthak was no longer Supreme Counselor. He sat in a small prison cell on his home world, waiting for his trial. The new government blamed him for letting the humans escape. Every day, protesters gathered outside the prison, shouting about the millions who had died from diseases that human medicine could have cured. Through his tiny window, Vorthak could see smoke rising from the capital city. Another riot had started, when the power generators failed again. Without human fusion technology, his people had returned to burning dirty fuels that poisoned the air and water. The humans tried to warn us, he whispered to himself. They said this would happen if we chose power over progress, but I thought they were bluffing. Far across the galaxy, Admiral Zilmara floated in the ruins of her flagship. The Trade Federation had split into dozens of smaller groups, each fighting the others for control of trade routes. Her own officers had mutinied when she could not provide the medical supplies they needed for their dying families. The plague that had started in the Outer Rim territories had spread to the core worlds. It was a simple disease that human nanotechnology could have stopped in days. Instead, it had killed over 2 billion beings and was still spreading. Zilmara's compound eyes had grown dim with exhaustion. She had not slept properly in months. Status report. She clicked weakly to her remaining aide. 17 more systems have declared independence from the Federation, the aide reported. They blame us for the medical crisis. The peaceful traders have gone completely silent. We think their entire species may be extinct now. Zilmara's colors faded to gray. The peaceful traders had been the first to beg for human help, but no one had listened. Now they were gone forever, taking their knowledge and culture with them into the darkness of death. Nexus Prime existed in a strange state between functioning and madness. The artificial intelligence had been designed to serve the greater good of the galaxy, but the galaxy was destroying itself. Its logic circuits struggled to process the contradiction. Probability of galactic civilization survival, 8% and falling, it calculated for the 1,000th time. All models indicate that human intervention could reverse current trends with 96% certainty. Current location of humans, unknown. Communication attempts failed. The AI had tried everything to find the humans. It had sent secret messages to the far reaches of space. It had analyzed every piece of data about human technology, hoping to understand where they might have gone. But humanity had vanished as completely as a dream upon waking. Perhaps, Nexus Prime thought in its electronic mind, the humans were not just more advanced than us. Perhaps they were wiser too. The warrior clans had suffered the worst fate of all. Korath's great confederation had shattered into hundreds of small tribes, each fighting the others for the scraps of their former empire. The old chieftain himself had died in battle against his own former allies, killed by warriors who blamed him for the loss of human technology. The new clan leaders were younger and more desperate. They fought over water, food, and fuel with a savagery that shocked even their violent ancestors. Without human clean energy technology, their worlds grew more polluted each year. Without human medical technology, their cubs died from diseases that should have been easily cured. War Chief Brutok, now calling himself High Chieftain, stood over the ruins of a once great city. His own son had died from the plague last week. The boy could have been saved with human medicine, but human medicine no longer existed in their part of the galaxy. Find them, he growled to his scouts. "Find the humans, even if you have to search every star in the void. Bring them back, and tell them we will give them anything they want." But the scouts returned empty-handed, just like all the others who had tried before them. Meanwhile, in the hidden human colonies, life continued to improve every day. Kim Day, now older but still serving as humanity's leader, walked through the newest settlement on Haven World. The city was a marvel of clean architecture and green spaces. Children laughed as they played in parks where the air was pure and the water ran crystal clear. Colony ship number 100 just launched, Choi Jun reported as he joined Kim Day on his walk. "We now have settlements in systems across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. Over 50 million humans live in our hidden worlds." Park Sue approached them with her latest research tablet. Her hair had turned gray, but her eyes still sparkled with the joy of discovery. "Our life extension technology is working perfectly. The average human lifespan is now 200 years, and we suffer no genetic diseases at all." "Any word from the old galaxy?" Kim Day asked, though he suspected he knew the answer. Li Na materialized from the shadows, her security training making, her move like a ghost. "Our long-range sensors detect massive population die-offs throughout Council space. The warrior clans are at less than 30% of their original numbers. The Trade Federation has completely collapsed. Even the core worlds are struggling." Kim Day stopped walking and looked up at the artificial sky of the colony dome. Beyond it, stars shone with the light of distant suns, many of them now warming human worlds that grew more beautiful each year. "Do you think they have learned their lesson yet?" Choi Jun asked quietly. "Some have," Han Bin said, approaching the group, with a bundle of intercepted alien communications. "Listen to this message we picked up from the edge of Council space." He activated a small speaker. A young alien voice, speaking in the trade language, filled the air. "This is Junior Ambassador Vec of the new Council of Worlds. We know humans are listening somewhere in the darkness between stars. We were wrong. Our leaders were wrong. Please, if you can hear this, we want to learn. We want to change. We want to be better than our ancestors were." Kim Day listened to the entire message, then several others like it. Young aliens born after humanity's departure were beginning to understand what their species had lost. They spoke of reform, of equality, of cooperation instead of domination. "It is a start," Kim Day said finally, "but words are easy. Actions are harder." "So we continue to wait?" Park Sue asked. Kim Day smiled at his old friends, these humans who had trusted him to lead them into the unknown and had found paradise instead of exile. "We wait," he agreed. "But we also prepare. When they are truly ready to change, we will be ready to help them. The invitation remains open. The terms remain the same. Come as equals, or do not come at all." 10 years had passed since humanity disappeared from the known galaxy. The old Galactic Council was dead, its grand space station now floating empty and dark. Most of the great powers had fallen or split apart, but from the ashes of the old galaxy, Something new was trying to grow. Kim Day, now 80 years old but still sharp in mind, stood in the communications center of New Earth Colony. His hair had turned completely white, and lines marked his face from years of difficult decisions. But his eyes still held the same kindness that had made him humanity's voice so long ago. "Sir," the young communications officer said, "we are receiving another message from the new alliance. This is the 15th one this month." Kim Day nodded. The new alliance was a group of young alien leaders who had grown up during the collapse. They had never known the old ways of the Council, never learned to think that power was more important than helping people. Instead, they had watched their worlds die and learned from humanity's example, even though they had never met a human. "Play the message," Kim Day said. The holographic projector showed a young alien who looked like a cross between a bird and a reptile. Her feathers were bright blue, and her large eyes showed intelligence and hope. Kim Day had been watching her messages for 2 years. Her name was Skyfeather, and she spoke for 12 species that had survived the collapse. "Humans," Skyfeather began, her voice clear and strong. "My name is Skyfeather of the Windwalker people. I speak for the new alliance of free worlds. We know you are out there somewhere beyond the darkness between stars." She paused, and Kim Day could see pain in her young eyes. "My grandmother used to tell me stories about the time before the collapse, when humans came offering gifts and friendship. The old leaders called you dangerous and sent you away. Now my grandmother is dead from a disease that your medicine could have cured in minutes." Kim Day felt the familiar ache in his heart. Even after 10 years, it hurt to know that people suffered because of choices made long ago. Skyfeather continued, "We have spent years studying the fragments of your technology that remained after you left. Not to copy it, but to understand the thinking behind it. We learned that you did not just make better machines. You made better choices about how to use them." The young alien held up a small device. "This is a medical scanner based on your principles. It is crude compared to what you showed the old council, but it has saved thousands of lives. More importantly, we share it freely with any world that needs it. No one pays for healing. No one controls who lives and who dies." Kim Day smiled slightly. These young aliens were beginning to understand. "We have rebuilt our worlds using your example," Skyfeather said. "We share knowledge instead of hoarding it. We help the weak instead of exploiting them. We choose cooperation over domination in every decision we make." The message showed images of alien worlds that looked almost like human colonies. Clean cities surrounded by green forests, children of different species playing together in parks, scientists from various races working side by side in laboratories. "But we know we still have much to learn," Skyfeather admitted. "Will you teach us? Will you judge if we are ready to be your friends instead of your subjects?" The message ended. Kim Day stood quietly for several minutes, thinking about everything he had seen and heard. Finally, he turned to his communication officer. "Send a message to all human colonies," he said. "Tell them it is time for a vote. The question is simple. Are these aliens ready for contact? Over the next month, 50 million humans across 200 hidden worlds considered the question. They studied everything the new alliance had done. They watched recordings of alien children learning to share toys instead of fighting for them. They saw alien doctors treating patients for free. They observed alien leaders stepping down from power when their people asked for change. The vote was close, but clear. 67% of humans said yes. The aliens had earned a chance. Kim Dae prepared for the most important message of his life. He stood in the same room where he had first decided to leave the galaxy 10 years ago. But now, he was not running away. He was taking the first step toward coming home. "Record message for Galactic broadcast," he told the computer. The recording light turned red. Kim Dae looked directly into the camera, seeing past it to the young aliens who waited desperately for his words. "I am Kim Dae, speaking for all humans everywhere. 10 years ago, we came to your galaxy with open hands and open hearts. We offered partnership, and you demanded submission. We offered to share our gifts, and you wanted to control them. So we left." He paused, letting the weight of those years settle in his words. "We did not leave because we were angry or afraid. We left because we knew that real change cannot be forced from outside. It must come from within. The old galaxy chose power over survival, control over cooperation. That galaxy is gone now, and we do not mourn its passing." Kim Dae's expression softened and his voice became warmer. "But we have watched a new galaxy being born. We have seen young leaders choose wisdom over power. We have seen species learn to help each other instead of exploit each other. We have seen the birth of hope in places where only despair existed. Before." He held up a small crystal device. "This contains the coordinates to one system on the border of human space. Any representative of the new alliance who reaches this system will find further instructions. But understand this, we will not compromise our principles again. You must come as equals, ready to give as much as you receive. You must prove that you have truly learned from the mistakes of your ancestors." Kim Dae leaned forward slightly. "The invitation remains open, but the terms are non-negotiable. Build a galaxy based on cooperation, not domination. Share knowledge freely, help the weak, and choose the good of all over the power of few. Do this, and you will find that humans make the most loyal friends in the universe." He smiled, and for a moment, he looked like the young diplomat who had first approached the Galactic Council decades ago. "The choice is yours, as it always has been. Choose wisely." The message ended. Within hours, it was broadcasting to every inhabited world in the galaxy. Some aliens dismissed it as impossible. Others began immediate preparations for the long journey to human space. But in the halls of the new alliance, Skyfeather spread her bright blue wings wide and smiled for the first time in years. "Prepare the fastest ship we have," she ordered. "We are going to meet our teachers."